are able to pull out, what kind of setups they're going to be doing.
Now, can you tell me who the two of them are going to be playing? Obviously, Ness and...
I'm trying to remember what Haki plays. I think it's me, Gunner. Yeah.
That sounds about right. We'll see in just a second. And that should be a fun setup because you're going to see some healing factors as well, given the spacing. And, of course, Business Suit Sans. That is the Brawler, actually.
That's right. Just putting the Sans costume to work. And yeah. You know what? Now that I think about it, Haki with using a me Brawler, that makes a little bit more sense. Because, you know, Haki being from One Piece, getting the power-up and kind of having like a similar fighting style as
I could say I watch a lot of anime. I've never watched an episode of One Piece, so I will just take whatever you said for truth. But the forward throw into forward smash is going to be the first dot gone. JEFFsoBOMB and Akko really just showing off what they can do. Interesting to see the Marth there. Obviously, they've got some practice stuff out with the ZSSF throw into the forward smash and the spacing on that. But
hey, even color coordinating with their costumes, very slick.
It's interesting used to see that up being Brawler, kind of a much less dynamic character than he was in 4. Obviously, Helicopter Kick's not the same as it once was. That was a move and a half in that game, and I still think Helicopter Kick is probably still his better upbeat, but Haki opting for the piston punch instead.
That's right. Remember, if it was a solo play, then you could definitely make a argument that Helicopter Kick was a better option. But this is doubles. You're really gonna have to think about how you want to convert off Ness setups, and big boost kick coming out from our Zero Suit player.
Yeah, they've both got what looks like to be Korean in their tags, so I can't really tell which one's which.
Okay, big down throw coming out from Haki, throwing out a couple of rapid jabs, really spacing out their opponents, just breaking the line. Marth going so deep. I think that's JEFFsoBOMB.
I was gonna say, yeah, because like it's positioned as 1 through 4 on the player screen as well, so I think you might be right on that. But yeah, no, the two of them looking incredibly good in this.
Oh, good job from Haki. So, Akko is actually doing a really good job of just lobbing opponents right to Jeff, and Jeff getting a lot of tippers to clean up stocks. But as you can see, Haki was actually able to interrupt. Oh, ho, ho.
That is a very, very, at this point, I feel like classic Ness setup, especially on this side of the country as well. You see that quite a bit, and Ribs using that to perfection.
Okay, getting dragged up, but an up air is going to break that forward air string. Oh, another big boost kick.
Dude, Akko has gotten the two of them caught in so many boost kicks setups, it's been ridiculous.
Oh, is that going to be enough?
Yeah,
oh, wow, from
just a body block.
Screen.
That's all it takes sometimes. And this is tough going because, like I said, Brawler, not the character that they once were. The ability to kill at will really pretty much gone for the character. Still has some pretty tight setups, but in doubles where really probably a throw or two will be the end of this, you see how Akko is approaching right now with the lead. It's going to be very, very hard for him to pull this off.
Yeah, because we both have seen like throughout this game 1 that Akko is really the setup player for his buddy Jeff.
Makes sense. ZSS, the faster and the more dynamic character too. Can approach from a lot of different angles.
Not to mention like having that tether grab is going to help, and the angle that Zero Suit throws.
What you got?
Oh, covering the high and the low. Very smart coming out from Jeff and Akko. Kickflip.
That's the difficult thing there. I actually don't even know if Brawler could have recovered from that spot. When you opt for the piston punch, you really limit how far horizontally you can go. So you saw the flame kick back and how far that took them, but at that point you're just kind of stuck there, and you're just going straight up and down and have to hope that your drift back will save you. But the flip kick there just answered all questions. It's like, it doesn't even matter if you could make this back. You're not going to.
Yeah, it's stuck between a rock and a hard place, and with no options left, that's going to be the end of game 1. Now our two Jeff and Akko looking very skilled right now.
Yeah, when we saw that initial stock gut leave with the ZSS F-Thler into the forward smash, like I was not expecting that to be at that angle, and the fact that he was able to just let that tipper rip like that, like that's Marth's biggest problem in this game, is that you can't really consistently combo into the tippers without just absolute stellar knowledge of the character and how your opponent's going to DI. But doubles kind of removes that. You have the ability to just throw into these forward smashes, and Marth forward smash, spoiler, very good. Very good when you get the tipper.
If you're able to get the tipper.
Yes.
And as you can see, as seasoned as those two players are, they have that combination on lock. I'm actually looking forward to see how many more times they're able to get that setup. Okay, doing a lot of shield damage onto Ribs. Now, we did see Blue Team drop the first game, but they've been doing a pretty good job of staying somewhat close to each other, just in case they do, in fact, end up in a peril situation. Ribs is there to help Haki, and right now he needs to get over there and do something. Okay, good save.
Yep. Wow, neither of them could really get in there. And then the F smash onto his partner on accident. Unfortunate spacing.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but now we're going to see the back throw tipper F smash coming out from Jeff. Those are looking real scary.
To your point about the spacing on everything and how close together both Brawler and Ness is playing, I feel like that is obviously very strong in a core concept of doubles, but in this matchup in particular, it might actually be a little bit more of a detriment to them, given the hitbox discrepancy between your Ness and your Mii Brawler compared to like a ZSS and a Marth, is that the two of them can space out so well against them. And even when you try to get these smaller areas to fight in, it's really simple for them to just really corner them and trap them. So they have to be very careful about how they approach with this very small gameplay you see.
Well, these two have actually been practicing quite a bit, Haki and Ribs. For doubles, they're making preparations for Mainstage, so I'm sure that they know the team weaknesses that they have.
Yeah.
Not exactly having very disjointed hitboxes, Ribs having an exploitable recovery. This is actually probably going to be a tough team for them to overcome. This is probably like the worst case scenario for them.
Yeah, it does not look like a great team comp for them to be dealing with. I do like the fact that they switched to Town and City, though. You mentioned the fact of how close together they fight. They're really able to use that like individual 2v1s that they can create to their advantage when the fact that you have such a wide space for them to use.
That's right, and of course these big blast zones are going to make it a little bit easier for them to live longer, but boost kick with the assist of a platform, that's lights out.
Really lucky break there for Haki. Almost got hit with tipper nair there from Marth. Probably would have been enough to just put him to an unrecoverable state.
And did you see the way that Jeff and Akko actually repositioned to get the ledge traps? Akko threw out the paralyzer, hit Jeff, immediately just back through him, said, get out of the way, get back in your position. We're setting up with me in the front again. Yeah. Oh!
I mean, and that's team comp, right? Like, both of these players are really short hopping in neutral a lot, allowing them to really move around at will. They're not really committing to a lot of options. And so the fact that they're able to just immediately reposition themselves like that because they're not throwing out those hitboxes is really useful.
Okay. We saw Haki, being able to really play support for Ribs, and right now Ribs could use some support. But Haki being at such a high percent is going to make it very difficult. That boost kick is going to take it. Where's the share stock? Get back in there, Haki.
That's got to be as I mentioned in the first game, that's like the 5th or 6th time that Akko's managed to grab up both of them with those initial hitboxes up B too. Like, they're getting a ton of mileage from that.
Yeah, I feel like the blue team isn't doing really where they're suffering is they're not recognizing who the target is on their team. Because Haki will run in and really leave Ribs alone. They're not sticking together like they were before.
Right.
Okay, big up tilt. Man, it's going to get hit by a forward air.
Yeah, you definitely see Red Team kind of like taking their foot off the pedal a little bit here. Knowing that how far up they are right now, they're not really overcommitting to a whole lot. Just a lot of just empty movement for the most part. Waiting for Blue Team to really push buttons. Which, I mean, they've been more than happy to throughout this set so far.
Oh, yeah, especially with characters like Brawler and Ness, but that Nair almost took stocks one from his own partner, though.
Yeah, it's such a low percent, too. Like, ZSS's ult is still below 100, and that Nair nearly killed her across the screen.
Wow. It wasn't enough to take out Zersu stocks? That's crazy.
I definitely thought they were both going to die there. I was like, oh,
yeah, okay. I had already seen the double kill. Like, I had moved on. This is going to be a 1v1. But no, the great DI from Akko is going to keep him in the game. And now we have a 2v1 situation. Oh, okay.
Honestly, Ribs is not in a terrible scenario right now. Ah, just like that.
Okay.
No, he's still alive.
Marth living. Here's that 1v1 that we should have had a few seconds ago, but it's finally, took a little bit extra time, and now we're here. Forward air is going to connect, and Ribs is able to steal out game 2.
Godlike. I thought the side B from ZSS was enough to get rid of Marth, but it's just the sheer size of the blast zones on Town and Single let him live just a little bit longer, but Ribs sealing the deal on game 2 there.
You know what? Smash thought that the side B was enough too.
You see that big MSI in the background, one of the primary sponsors for the event, guys, helping us put on Mainstage 2019, Beyond the Summit's first Smash Major. super sick to be out here for this, man. First time in SoCal, too. Like, I am loving this so far.
Yeah, I was wondering when you're going to get out here. You know, we have a
man.
lot of great events.
Hey, man, talk to Champ. I would love to. I finally got In-N-Out for the first time last night. That was godlike.
So did In-N-Out live up to its like name, its hype? Oh,
no, it's
very
good. It's
Hang
very
on to
good.
that. We're going to come back to that later because I'm going to need more than 30 seconds. To
but like, there's like Cookout is like one of the most slept on top tiers of all time. But I will say Animal Style will make anything better.
All right, we're coming back to that after this set.
Word.
Our break is going to be about In-N-Out.
I'm about it. I will talk food. I don't care. You've seen the camera cut to me. I've eaten my fair share of things.
Okay, well now let's see who's going to be making their way onto the next set with JEFFsoBOMB Akko versus Ribs and Haki, Game 3.
Now, I see it in the top. It's all of doubles best of 5?
That's right. All of doubles is going to be best of 5.
Interesting. So, I mean, you have a lot of opportunities for adaptation, a lot of opportunities to change your play style. And so far, this is a good start. I mean, we see the Lucina switch, too. Kind of interesting to think about how they're going to be using that instead of Marth. More consistent, obviously, but their setups will seem to Marth appropriate.
Yeah, but now they're not going to be able to abuse the tipper.
Right.
Especially, like, the way they started so explosive with getting the throw combos into tipper. Like, yes, you can still throw into F smash, but not having that edge,
It's
they
another
have a
probably
damper.
15-20%.
Yeah. You just got to work a little bit harder.
Yeah. And interesting that they opt back for TC as well. Obviously feeling it wasn't too much of a detriment to them. But, I mean, Haki and Ribs did manage to steal game 1. They've already taken the first stock here. First time they've done that in the set, winning the initial salvo.
Yeah, when you think about it, you know, really, Red Team is the one who's been utilizing platforms the most. And, of course, with like a big stage like this, it's going to really keep Net's back throw at bay because there's going to be very limited positions where you want to go for that.
And you see Jeff starting to push a little bit more buttons with Lucina than Marth. Obviously makes sense with the character dynamic as well. But it seems like they're starting to swing a little bit more than they were in the first 2 games. And when you swing, you miss. And it causes some unfortunate situations for them.
That's right. Blue Team being up whole 2 stocks, but making quick work of at least one of them. And Ribs taking his time getting back to stage. Very smart because that's going to allow Haki to get respawn and get off that platform.
I'm actually really interested to see the fact that like they haven't really pressured Ribs that much off stage as well. There's been more than a few times where he's had to upbeat back, and whether that Haki is there or not, you can still affect Nessa's upbeat, and just really hasn't committed to that so far. So I'm kind of curious to see if that is something we see in these later games.
Okay, now correct me if I'm wrong, but did they actually adjust the moveset on Haki? He's throwing a lot more shot put out than he was in the previous 2 games, and it's been working out in their favor.
It's been the same moveset. He just hasn't used it.
Oh, okay.
Shot puts on neutral
B, yeah.
And then the side B is the flame kick, piston punches the up B, and then he's got the flip kick for down B.
Fantastic. Well, he's definitely making great use of that shot put. That metal ball is putting a lot of hurt on Red Team.
That move is so much better than it was in 4. It's ridiculous. Shot put was a terrible move in Smash 4, and it is now functional.
Oh, even using the shot put to try and cover his landing. That way, Akko or Jeff wouldn't really be too comfortable, like trying to juggle Haki.
This is smart though. Like we talked about in game 2 about how the empty hops of Red Team are really benefiting them. But this time you're seeing Haki use a lot more Nair to shield. Excellent option for Nibrella to begin with. But Ribs is covering it a lot more with Nair and back air as he approaches in, as he sees Haki being pressured. So it's really smart team play on their part to really try to interact more with how Red Team wants to approach. Super good stuff. And then you just eat like 18 million PK fires.
PK fires with a combination of metal ball. That's just a horror. Like PK fire enough.
That's borderline alchemy. You're turning metal into gold at that point.
Okay, Sharkin now with the PK Thunder, and Haki realizing what his partner's doing just gets right out of the way.
Yeah, like let me get out of here.
Okay, dash attack connects, and Haki was in a good position, but you know that Dolphin Slash from Lucina. Very hard to just stand at the ledge.
Game 3, all blue team right now, though. This is the first time we've seen them with this significant of a lead this entire set.
Yeah, Red Team may have been under the impression that this stage really didn't play that big of a part in their defeat in Game 2, but I think think it might be time for a different stage in Game 4.
It's kind of curious, too, like how you want to play this. Because, I mean, we've mentioned the fact that both Brawler and Ness are a little stubby. And playing against that can be difficult. So, but if you take them to a smaller stage, it's only going to benefit them in that regard.
It does benefit them, but like we were saying earlier, Red Team is making better use of these platforms.
Yep.
Why not go to a stage that has more platforms?
A Yoshi's, perhaps.
Yoshi's, a Battlefield. They may have been banned.
Yeah. But still, it's a best of 5, so like how much can you ban?
That's true. You get 2 bans, and you can't win on your counter pick.
Yeah.
Or you can't go back to your counter pick.
All right. Even stocks, not even percents.
Okay, Nair sneaking in over Lucina.
Brawler and Ness are a little exploitable off stage. We'll see if maybe they can get some shenanigans that way. Or that could happen.
Very unfortunate. The Nair from Lucina, so strong, and as you can see, you know, a little bit of friendly fire as well.
Yep.
And we just gave him the leather boots.
Mario Nair. It's really good. Like, Brawler is just an amalgamation of all the different like scrappy characters. Like you have Mario Nair, you have Mario up tilt, ZSS flip kick, you know, Raptor boost on one of his side Bs as well. Like there's a lot of good stuff there. I'm still of the mind that like Gunner's probably the best me right now. Especially since Swordy kind of got nerfed. Swordy was definitely the best at the beginning of the game, but they took away the setups into
no argument there.
That character was very, very good in probably the least healthy competitive way possible.
Well, JEFFsoBOMB and Akko, you know, they made the character switch. Honestly, I'd like to see Jeff switch back to Marth. You know, having the threat of Tipper is almost enough to be a game changer.
Yep.
Especially the way that Akko...
It seemed he looked much more comfortable with Marth than he did with Lucina in how he played around both his partner and his opponents.
That's true. Lucina was a lot more offensive, and it seemed more forced.
Yep. Like, it just felt like he was holding forward for a majority of the Lucina game, whereas with the Marth game, you saw a lot more nuance to, like, his option selections.
Okay, well, Team Battle is ready. And it looks like he is, in fact, locking in Lucina.
Again, all right. Let's see. Hey, man, it's one game, right? Like, you're still adjusting.
Okay, so let's jump right back into Game 4. Sticking out with Lucina and Zero Suit Samus versus Ness. And, of course, our Mii Brawler extraordinaire.
Town and City again. All right. Interesting. Oh, wow.
A lot of up airs coming out from Ribs, and even trying to put the cherry on top with the PK Thunder.
Yeah, trying to get cute there a little bit with the PK2, but still, that was a ton of damage from those uppers alone.
So unfortunate part of this combination is, like, you know, there are some team combinations that will be able to heal each other, but Red Team isn't one of them. All that damage is going to stick.
I mean, in that regard, neither is Blue Team. You know, we thought maybe initially that we'd see Gunner and Ness, and in that regard, you could definitely see some healing going on.
What were they going for there?
Yeah, that was a little curious.
Oh, getting scooped up with the up air, especially so up like that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that is dangerous.
Yeah, but Town and City coming in clutch, you know, keeping Haki in the game, but some friendly fire coming out from Ribs, maybe throwing out a little bit too many up airs.
Yep. And it's kind of interesting because, you know, like I said, Brawler, maybe not the greatest of characters in singles, but, you know, the dynamic ability of this character in doubles, you really are able to take advantage of moves that aren't really that functional in singles. Like, you're not going to really get the kill confirms that you were in 4. They're just not there anymore. So the fact that you're able to play into it a little bit more and just use the back airs and like have the nairs out of shield to really set up into things are really useful for, I feel like, this team comp especially.
Okay. Red Team's doing a good job of just boxing Blue Team. We seem to have a lot more back and forth here in Game 4 than we have in the previous sets.
Yeah. I mean, we're almost even percents right now. Usually, typically, it's either been one team or the other favored by at least a stock.
Okay, big up smash coming from Ribs with the ledge, and we're starting to see that blue team edge guarding coming clutch.
There's that
covering
piston punch, though.
The high option with the up B?
It's very fast. It's not the best of moves, but it's very fast. There's that 1-inch punch, that forward smash.
Okay, big attacks coming out. Taking out Haki's stock. Oh,
that's really smart. I actually did not realize the Dolphin's Life worked alongside PK Thunder like that. Because that was about to be a back throw if I've ever seen one.
I like the positioning that we have from both teams. You know, we had the forwards and like the support characters in the back. We had a Lucina and a Me Brawler really just trying to break the neutral and get something started while their partners waited. It's almost like these players don't want to separate from their 1v1s. You can see we've seen a lot of Ribs versus Akko.
I mean, I know I typically, like, especially if against doubles players that I've never played before, if there's a matchup that I prefer, I'll literally be like, hey, let me focus on this.
That's true.
I mean, you'll see some switches back and forth initially, but I can definitely feel like I definitely feel like Ribs would much rather fight Akko than he would JEFFsoBOMB just because of the Marth Lucina Ness matchup. So I guess that makes at least some sense on a micro level.
I find it so interesting because in game 1 we saw Akko and JEFFsoBOMB really trying to abuse the team dynamic of doubles.
Yeah.
And this, we haven't seen it.
At all. I mean, what was... Damn, that was almost a terrible DI on that down throw. But he survived, so that's what matters. But no, I mean, you're absolutely right. We saw the ZSS forward throw to open the stocks, you know? The forward throw into the Marth F smash, and we have not seen it at all since then. I don't know if it's the fact that like ZSS's throw isn't the most consistent of things to actually land in doubles, or if they're just not really opting for it and instead going for those 1v1s like you mentioned.
Okay, well, you're going to see the share stock, but boost kick, Haki, not quick enough. But with 113% onto Akko, it's going to have a little bit of a mountain to climb.
Yeah. So in this, you're really going to see Ribs just try to really punish buttons more than anything else. That is going to be one of the few options where you can really just set that up in general with the shot put. But you're going to see that. I was literally just about to say, watch out for side B after you just hit a move.
Oh. Side B still being able to recover.
I want you to know, shot put in Smash 4 had minimum, I believe it was 63, but minimum 60 frames of lag. They made that move.
That's a whole second.
So much better. You could, so we were talking about Leaf FC earlier.
Yes.
Really good friend of mine, me player extraordinaire in 4.
Shout out to Leaf FC.
You could punish the initial throw of shot put with Falcon Punch.
No.
That's how bad that move was.
No.
I'm not. If I'm lying, I'm dying to use it right now. May whoever strike me down. If I'm lying, I'm dying. It was one of the worst moves in all of customs. So the fact that they made that viable and to make it still so strong and have so much knockback like you saw there, it's a much better move to be using in all. But in and out. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yes. So this is your first time in SoCal for Mainstage.
Yep.
First time ever. So that means you hadn't even come here for like vacation.
Nope.
You've never stepped foot in Hollywood.
Been to NorCal a bunch. But first time in SoCal. The reason I say it doesn't quite live up to it is because people that stand in and out think it's the greatest thing on the planet. And it is very good. It is very, very good. It is a solid A-tier fast food restaurant.
Okay, well, you know what? Hang on to that thought for just a second because I have a great rebuttal. But right now, we got some replays. Let's jump to them.
Here it is. Bam! 85, just dead. And they never went for it again.
Well, I think they actually did go for it a couple other times. They just weren't able to clutch it out like that. And here we go. Ribs with the big team play coming in, saving his partner.
That was honestly wanting a little bit too much from JEFFsoBOMB because that was already a fully charged force smash. You're just holding it for the sake of holding at this point.
I mean, he may have been hoping that Akko was able to like get a forward throw and maybe get the 2-for-1 special, but you know, greed does have a price.
Yep. And the price is your winner's run. Now is Ribs still SoCal?
He travels around a lot, but I think he is SoCal based still. Okay, and here we go. The double close up.
And I love how like under stylized the shot put is. So you have like the all of the effects of ZSS's suit and like the splash effects behind it, and then just like
a big
a JPEG
metal ball.
Just a JPEG coming at you. I'm like, all right, that's real. That's a pretty good design choice from the Smash dev team. Words. I am good at them. I'm very good at the words.